From the time that we're little girls, we start getting the messages that we need to be nice to other people, even if it means sacrificing our own needs, our own desires, our own resources to please other people. That we should be cognizant of the fact that we need to, quote, be nice in order to have people like us. It's very unfortunate that this is the message that so many female children receive, and I'm here to ask you guys to eradicate the word nice from your vocabulary, and for parents to really consider what it is that you're teaching your daughters. I'm going to run through this with you because, what I've found is that most of the time we learn this stuff, right? We hear this stuff as children, and folks never question it. They never think, well, why do I need to be nice? Why do I need to be nice when these people are hurting me? Why do I need to be nice to folks who talk to me any old kind of way and take advantage of me? Why? Why do I need to do that? And so few of you actually sit down and analyze the situation that you're in and the messages that you're getting and why you're getting them. So, me, that's my job. I'm going to help you do it. Because I'm one of those people, I don't really talk much. Most of the words that I use are on YouTube. I don't really have, I don't talk much. I'm in my head a lot. I think a lot. I'm very analytical. And I think about situations and things and structures and patterns and things of that nature and come up with ideas for what those things mean. And then when I'm ready to talk, I'll make a video. And I may not use any words for the next 2 or 3 days. I'm just back in my head again. So I think people need to understand that. I have like 8 people that call me on my phone, and that's pretty much it. I'm not really, in spite of everything I do here, I'm not really a people person. I'm a loner. And but what you get is the benefit of my aloneness, which, since I'm in my head a lot, I'm able to kind of analyze these things and provide you with solutions. So let's start with, what does it mean to be a nice woman? And this is where a lot of women run into problems because they think that by being nice, that's going to mean they're going to get a dude who is nice back. And I'm here to tell you, being nice to motherfuckers is a guaranteed way to get dogged the fuck out. More women need to accept the fact that men will see you as weak, as someone to use, and someone to take advantage of, because you're in the male world. That kind of niceness is seen as a weakness, and they're not women. Okay, now if you're dealing with another woman, then she might understand your niceness. But we're talking about dating on this channel. We're talking about single women interacting with single men. And y'all want to take those female principles of interacting and apply them to males. And I'm telling you, that shit never works. Men are different. Their whole mentality is one of conquest, of winning, of, taking no prisoners. That's their mindset. Combat, war, winning. And then here you come all skipping along, throwing petals of flowers and shit, and talking about you want to be nice. You can't be nice to men. Now let me tell you, let's start. What does it mean to be a nice woman? One of my friends posted, this woman had a question that she sent in, and this is very common. I've had things along this line on my websites rather through the years. But since this was, like right in front of my face, I felt like, why go searching through my archives for questions that fit? I could just use this one. So basically what this lady is saying is that, she's single and she wants a family and she wants a husband, but she feels like the only type of dudes that she attracts are, negative, bad guys. And she says she wants a good man, but they don't seem to be really attracted to her. Then this is where the killer part comes in. I am a very giving person to a fault and want to fix whatever vibe I give off that attracts the violent, selfish, criminal elements I attract. And she says, what do? I feel like they smell the fact that I'm a good person and use it as a weapon against me. Absolutely. That's exactly what is happening. Why? because you're dealing with a mentality of male, and even though it's not all black males, it is the overwhelming majority, and they don't have signs on them on their foreheads so that you can just look at them and tell which is which. If that was the case, that would make life, wouldn't that make life so much easier? But that's not the case. So you're not gonna know if he's a decent dude or if he's like a user and abuser type of dude just by looking at him. And these abuser types, the game player types, are smooth, and they tend to be very good looking because that's like their cover, right? So they know great bodies, great rap, they look good in the face, they got their shit together in that respect. But their mentality is what we're talking about. So, excuse me, when you see one of these dudes and he's approaches you, you got to understand that if he sees you as nice, that means it's open season. You just about got a target on your forehead like a damn deer during deer hunting season. These guys are primed to take advantage of you, and that's exactly what happens because you don't really understand that you can't go around being nice to fools. You can't do it. When a woman is too nice, because people are like, well, what does that mean, Deb? What does it mean when someone is called too nice? That basically means for a woman that she's too compliant. Like everything that he asks her to do or to change about herself or to give him, she does it with no complaints, no demands for reciprocation, nothing. She just like this grinning fool giving this man everything. So, they basically see you as somebody to take advantage of. And since you never say no, you never, give them any kind of qualifier to get these things from you, they interpret your behavior as you volunteering to give them the stuff that they asked you for. And when we talk about what's a nice woman, right, there's certain criteria that they seem to exhibit over and over. Submissiveness. They have this very placating type attitude, like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever, whatever you like, whatever you think, whatever you want. They don't assert themselves at all. They're basically people pleasers. And when you have someone who is a people pleaser, they are denying themselves, they're denying their own needs, their own thoughts, their own dreams, their own wishes in order to do what they think will make you happy. These folks have like no boundaries, whatever you want, they're going to give it to you. And they have a really hard problem with saying no. And they also really struggle with telling you what they need or want and making any demands. It's like there's some problem with them demanding reciprocation in their relationships. And I found that nice women really don't know how or when to draw the line because, there's such a thing as cooperating and working in a group environment towards the greater good or the whole, common goal, whatever. But there's also the flip side where you become a doormat or a pushover. And that, unfortunately, is a perception of women who are quote, nice. That you're a pushover and you're somebody that can be used easily. And unfortunately, that perception is usually right. So what are the signs that you're too nice to men? Since we talk about dating and relationships here, we're not going to really delve into some other stuff. But let's talk about signs that you're too nice to men and your ass has been set up to be dogged out. Well, one thing is you're too ready to give men what they want. You make yourself, your time, your resources, which is usually your money, your car, your house, something like that, is just too available. So what happens, like you give all the stuff right so easily, so readily, so upfront. Guys place no value on that. They never have to work for it. They never have to give you anything in return either. My thing is this. I'm not saying you can't be nice to, your dude. What I'm saying is you need to regulate that shit. And be nice to his ass every now and then when he deserves it. Don't just be nice for GP. What the fuck for? Then he's going to start taking you for granted. He's going to start expecting it even though he hasn't done anything to earn it. And, women have to understand that men have a different mentality than you do. Men are motivated by striving, by conquering, by winning. So if he gets everything that you got to give without any of those efforts, he doesn't appreciate it. Men place no value on shit that they don't have to work for. And, no matter what you may think about how you loving your man and all this old stuff, the bottom line is, if you don't demand performance from him, that you don't demand that he give you in return for what you give him, you setting yourself up to be used. You don't demand respect. That's point number 2. We're talking about signs that you're too nice to a man and your ass is like on the chopping block to get dogged out. One thing that men do a lot, right, because they like to think that their asses are more important than women. So you're in a situation, right, you're talking to a dude or as a group of people. They're going to interrupt you. They talk over women. Have you ever noticed that? Women's talking, sharing her opinion. Dude just going to jump in and start talking over you like you weren't even there. Whatever you were talking about wasn't even important. And when you see when something like that happens, you have to be very confident about yourself and say, excuse you, you're being rude right now. I was still talking. Or you say, when I'm done, then you can interject or ask me questions, but I'm not done yet. Or you can say that, what you just did really, why did you cut me off like that? And just jump into the conversation. I'm not done. You need to give me time to talk and make my point. Whatever you want, however you want to phrase it. I've used all of those, including fuck you, motherfucker. Your ass is, you just interrupting and shit. Didn't your mother teach you how to fucking have a conversation? I will say stuff like that. But you don't have to go to that level. That's just me. But, you women, you just let that go. You don't check them. And some of you would just like the dude, you'll be talking, right, trying to make your point. And then here come the dude talking, and you just stand there. You just stand or sit. Depending on the circumstances. And you just be quiet because you're thinking, I should let him talk. The fuck you should. Nigga just running off at the mouth with diarrhea in the mouth. Nobody would hear that shit. So it's like, if what you have to say, you can't think that what you have to say is of less value and less importance than what he's talking about. Number 3, this is my list now. This does not, this is not a scientific thing, but we're talking about things that I've noticed. You're not assertive enough. When you're too nice, you're not assertive at all. You allow men to interrupt your life. Okay, like say this is a recent example. A woman was talking about on my YouTube wall how she gets interrupted by dudes trying to holler while she's at doing a workout at the gym, and how annoyed she is. I gave her some suggestions, including wearing headphones, or if the guys keep harassing her, to seek out the services of one of the fitness staff on the floor, which I used to be when I worked in a gym, and to tell them that the guy is bothering them, and they'll check him, and if necessary they will get security to escort him out, and if he's really obnoxious they will cancel his membership so he can't even come back in the club anymore. So depending upon the level of his intrusion and how he handles himself, it could be any of those 3 things. But you guys have the right, whether it's somebody at the gym or something like that, on the street, or whether in your own home, like you just want to take a bubble bath, talk on the phone to a friend, read a book, watch your TV show. You want to do all this stuff without being interrupted by somebody's bullshit. You have every right to tell them, you know what, you need to wait to talk to me until I'm done. This is my time, go away. You have the time, you have the right to tell your man, your mama, your kids, your neighbors, your friends, whoever it is, you have the right to do that. Say, this is my time right now, I don't want it interrupted. Or just turn your phone off. And there's people in your house, of course, you tell them, I'm going to take my bath, I'm going to read this book, I'm going to do this and that. For the next hour, I'm unavailable unless it's a life-threatening emergency. Actually, even if it's that, don't call me. Call fucking 911. They can help you better than me. And then go disappear and do your thing. And they'll leave you alone. They'll get the message after a while that this is your time and not to bother you. Some things that women do is, so somebody blames them for something, right? This is a big thing online. Well, you black women this and you women that. And, it's your fault that we're lonely and we're single and we're this and that, blah, blah, blah. The bottom line is you don't accept responsibility for any other adult's behavior. You don't do that. If they're feeling a certain kind of way, that's their responsibility to make a change, not yours. They're not your child. Because women are really concerned. I mean, not everyone, because I cannot include myself in that category because I give no fucks. But a lot of women are really concerned about being perceived as being mean or being angry or being rude or being selfish. And I'm like, shit, what's wrong with them things? Those things are very self-preservational. You need to be some of them things on a regular basis. Or this one, I guess this is number 4. You're not brave enough. You're not brave. I mean, you don't have the courage to go against the grain. You don't have the courage to stand up for yourself. You just kind of fold like a bad poker hand and give other people what they want. Like what they want is more important than what you want. Fuck these people. So you all just, okay, you're already tired, right? You're already worn down, but you go and assume some tasks and responsibilities that you really don't have time for, or you just really don't want to do. And, it could be a work-related thing. It could be, the community. It could be your sorority. It could be whatever. You don't want to do it, and you don't really have time, but here you go. Oh, okay, I'll do it. Try to be a people pleaser again. Or, number 5, you're just too eager to please. And this is a big one with people who can't say no. It's like you're just too accommodating to other people and their requests. You end up all worn down and depleted. And most of the women who follow this kind of mindset, if you look at them, they're out of shape. They're like obese. They have bad health. They're stressed out. And, the bad health comes in the form of multiple chronic diseases like hypertension, heart disease, cancer, or diabetes. Those are all, chronic diseases from people who don't take care of themselves. Some of you will agree to, okay, you have an ex, right? You broke up with him. So here he come calling. Oh, can we get together? I want to talk. Okay, you're supposed to tell him no. Because what happens in too many cases, you guys trying to, quote, be fucking nice, end quote. You go run off somewhere and meet the dude, right? And then for the next 10 years, nobody can find you. Nobody knows where you are. Because these motherfuckers are crazy. You can't be going running off meeting these men, to try to give them what they want, which they call closure. You're not responsible for other people's closure. And you don't believe me? Listen to the video I did on it a couple of weeks ago. Nobody's responsible for your closure, just you are. So if you broke up with a man, go through great pains and never, ever, ever be alone with him ever again. Don't do it. Some of you are such people please. You want to be nice, right? You don't place any boundaries on your kids, your family, your friends. Folks always constantly using you for stuff, asking you for shit. Excuse me. Or, just basically ruining your life. I mean, they're just all up in your world. And, excuse me, I had to get something to drink. My throat was dry. I don't know. That's just a rough one because, I know people really want to, take care of their families. They want to have close relationships with their children and all this kind of stuff. But even if they're children, they have to understand their place in the household. They are not the number one. Okay. If you're married, your husband should be number 1 and your children number 2. Or maybe they're number 3 and you're number 2. Whatever way you want to work it. But kids should never be placed first in a relationship between a husband and wife. They're just not. And, once they grow up and leave the house, then what? It's just going to be you and your man. So you need to figure out how to handle that and put boundaries on other people, your friends, your family, and your children, to make sure that they respect both you, your husband, and your household. Some of you will take on too much work. We talked about this a little bit ago, at your workplace, at your church, in your sorority, in your neighborhood council, whatever. And you will assume a lot of responsibility and assignments of other people, calling yourself being helpful. No, you're going to be nice, and that shit needs to die too. Some of you, and this is a really, really bad situation I see a lot, you stay in some really bad, negative, hurtful, toxic relationships because your primary focus is not on saving yourself. Your primary focus is on not hurting his feelings. And see, that's some other bullshit, this nice thing. You don't be nice in a situation like that. If you're going to be nice to somebody, be nice to yourself, because this man is hurting you. This relationship is hurting you. Why in the world are you focused on not hurting his feelings when he hurts yours 25 times a day? What the fuck is that? And I've been doing what I've been doing since the early 90s. I still don't understand that mentality. I still don't get that. Why women do that. And then the last one that I could think of, this too nice shit and how it plays out, is, say you're in a group situation, right? And people are talking about something it's a controversial topic. You are afraid to voice your true opinion because you don't want them to perceive you. You want them to like you. You don't want them to perceive you as being, antagonistic or too weird or different or whatever. So you go along with the popular opinion with the group that you're in at the moment, because you're trying to, quote, be nice, but you're not being authentic. You're not being real with yourself. See, that's the kind of shit that leads to low self-esteem and a loss of self, because you just battered around by everybody that you're with at that moment. So at the end of the month, who really are you? You've given all kind of different opinions based on the group that you were in at the moment. That's not authentic living, and that shit is guaranteed to make you feel bad about yourself. Y'all need to stop doing that. So let's talk about how other people view your niceness. I think it's interesting that a lot of people don't understand that if you got somebody who's a street savvy individual such as myself, and you come out the box being too nice, I'm going to give you the side eye. Because usually when people are too nice, they have a hidden agenda. And I'm suspicious. You can be like somewhat nice, but I don't expect you to be like one of them kiss ass types of nice, because then I'm going to start be looking at you all kind of crazy. Like, why is this person doing all this stuff and they not asking for anything in return? Because see, my motto is this: ain't shit free in this world. That's what my dad used to say. You need to pay now or you pay later, but you always pay. So somebody coming in like that, I'd be looking at them like, okay, this person is trying to set me up so that they can get the payment later. They're going to ask me for shit I'm not going to want to do, and they're going to have an attitude because I say no. But see, this is why it's very important to to just be authentic with your demands and, who you are and what you're all about. That's very necessary for both parties. The other aspect that people don't think about when they consider how people view their niceness is that you coming in being nice, like this lady at the top of the recording that I was reading her letter, you're going to attract users and needy, whiny folks that want a mommy, or the demanding and controlling type of man. And these guys manipulate, quote, nice women with guilt trips. That's their favorite thing. So if you don't meet their request, they hit you with this one. I guess that means you don't really love me then, like you say you do. You just lying. Otherwise, you would do X, Y, and Z for me because you love me. And it becomes an issue in your relationships. I got to turn my phone off. I forgot to do it. Sorry. Interrupted. So those are things that you need to consider when you're looking at you being nice out here in the dating world. Not everybody's going to perceive that as as a good thing. They're going to be suspicious of it, or they're going to they're going to crack their knuckles and get ready to use you till they use you up. So let's talk about this. My next point: why being nice is dumb. You can't be a nice woman. We living in a different society now. If you married and your husband is nice to you, well, then you can be nice to him. But in a situation like we talk about dating here, dating does not mean you're in a committed relationship. Dating means you're trying to find a committed relationship. So in a situation like what this channel addresses, this is no time to be nice. It's just not. And plus it's like, being too nice not only is a bad situation for, the man that you're involved with, it's a bad situation for you, because being too nice, people tend to get resentful. This is what I've noticed, because I'm pretty easygoing. I'm just like, whatever. But a lot of these people, if they're too nice, they get resentful, because you have some people who put other people's needs first, but those same people get upset when you don't do the same for them in return. And that becomes kind of an interesting thing, because most of the time, they volunteer to do those things. You haven't asked them to do those things. They want to, because they want to be helpful, or they want to give to you, and they want to be perceived as, quote, being nice. Well, that becomes kind of an interesting thing if you, the kind of individual that, is kind of a solo player, and then somebody comes in, doing stuff and giving you stuff. Well, I mean, you could reciprocate a little bit, but you're rarely going to find someone who's a solo player who's able, interested, or even willing to give back to the level that the, quote, nice person does. They overgive. And then they expect some really unreasonable amounts of niceness in return that usually is not going to be reciprocated. The person will give them some, but they're usually dissatisfied because they want you to give them the level of niceness that they gave to you. And it's like, we're talking about two different people here with different motivations, different personalities, different needs, and all that stuff. And to expect somebody to give to you like you gave to them might not be the smartest thing. But, they tend to start thinking that people are taking them for granted or mean to them or something like that. And they just fail to understand that, they volunteered for that shit. So is it really that other person's responsibility to try to meet their level of niceness? I don't think so. Another thing that I've noticed about the women who we consider to be, quote, too nice, they usually have some serious struggles with low self-esteem, and a lot of them have like no confidence in themselves, a lot of negative message feeding. And I think one of the reasons why they do that is because they feel like they need to be nice to compensate for something that they lack, which is, of course, the confidence in their what they have to offer. So that's really kind of sad. And I don't know, I think I'll have to do a video on how parents can help their daughters have a healthy self-esteem, through their teens and beyond, because it's just vital. So many young women just don't have it. It's like epidemic. So they think that they have to earn affection and earn devotion and earn friendships and earn attention and just bend over backwards and give men what they want, waiting on them hand and foot, or not really feeling the dude, but they sleep with him anyway because they just feel like that's what they need to do to get these men's attention. I don't know. It's just really, really sad. But the main thing about when you're too nice and giving too much to a dude is you will lose sight of who and what you are, because you're bending and flexing and jumping through hoops, based on everybody else's opinions and everybody else's needs and everybody else's ideas about what you should be or what a woman should be in a relationship. So you're trying to meet all these miraculous standards and really losing sight of who and what you are and what your own needs are. And I beg you to please stop doing that. So how can you meet those, that? I say, okay, stop doing that. Well, you're like, okay, well, what I got to do? What I need to do, Deb? I'm going to tell you. You want to cure yourself of the being overly nice thing and be more of a bitch? It's a process. I'm I'm not saying this is something that you could just start, you're just going to wake up in the morning and have change. It's not like that. But what you have to do is become cognizant of when you are over giving and then stop yourself. Okay, this is going to require some real, introspective analysis of your motivations and your behavior and why you do it. I can't do that for you. There's there's like a zillion of you guys. It's one of me. So the best I can do is tell if you get ready to you ready to repeat rather a behavior pattern that didn't bring good results in the past, then you need to stop yourself. Just stop and say, okay, why am I doing this? And walk yourself through it. Okay, because I did this before and this is what happened. I got gamed on, I got hurt, I got used. Okay, so you don't need to revisit that behavior because everything that happened with that behavior was negative. So why would you keep doing that? They say the definition of insanity is keep doing the same thing expecting a different result. It doesn't work with men. I keep trying to get you guys to understand it. Men have to earn it. They have to work for it. You can't give them everything like that. You can't just come in the door being like this big heart and just letting them take advantage of everything that you have to offer. You need to be very clear about your own needs and make your needs a priority. A lot of women will, they give it a do, right? They start canceling dates with their friends and, or they, guys say, well, I don't think you should go there. I don't think you should wear that. I don't think you should, have this person as a friend. And instead of telling that motherfucker, fuck you, fuck off, I'm going to do what the hell I want to do, you guys will bend to his will because you want to be nice. You're afraid of losing the relationship, I guess. That's the only thing I could figure. And so you try to, placate him and please him by doing what he wants you to do. The best thing you could do for yourself is say, well, that's interesting that that's what you like and that's what you want, but that won't be happening here. I'm going to do as I please. I'm going to see the people that I like to see. I'm going to go the places I like to go. And I'm going to wear the clothing that I like to wear. If any of those things is too much for you to bear, there's the door. Bye-bye. Okay? That's what you need to do. Stop being so fucking desperate for dick. Oh my God. Now, if you struggle with anxiety or low self-esteem or any of those kind of things, I'm going to urge you to see a counselor and get some help. Because you can't live your life sacrificing yourself for other people. That's never going to work. At 30, 40, 50 years from now, you just giving everything that you got away to other people. What do you have left for yourself? Okay, what you just giving away bits and pieces of yourself to everyone. What about you? Some of you really need to think about that. You're an important person too. Okay, you need to pay attention to what you need and then give it to yourself. Don't be afraid of setting boundaries and sticking to what it is that you want. And I think too another way that women express niceness is by using what I call hesitant language and speech patterns. You giggle, you put your head down, you talk in this like hesitant little voice, timid speech, and use words like, I don't know, oh, maybe, I think so, kinda, you doing all this kind of stuff is insane. No, yes, fuck off, get out of my face with that shit, hell no, that's not happening, stuff like that. I mean, be definitive. You can't give men mixed messages. So it's like you telling them one thing with your mouth, but it's not really firm. I mean, you like put people in a situation where, they don't really know where you're coming from. And this could be a male or a female. It could be at work or, in your private life. You have to use your behavior and your language have to match. So if you say no, then you got to do no. If you say yes, you got to do yes. You know what I mean? Just really think about that. And then finally, I think one of the chief things that the two nice women do is they have a pattern of feeding themselves messages that are negative. You feed yourself messages of not measuring up, of not being what men want. We have a lot of that with the chicks and the colorism thing. They all talking about dudes don't want dark skinned women and all this old stuff. And I'm like, dudes like every different kind of woman. I mean, come on now, really? Um, you can't have these fears of failure and loss and not being good enough and all this old stuff. And I think what people should do, to counteract that, if you could probably look it up online how to create a mantra for yourself, but you need to come up with a mantra or two, and then you need to say that shit 20, 50 times a day. Put it in copy it to a CD and play it in your car from an MP3 file or something like that, and listen to it, and repeat the messages. I am fine. I'm good. I'm a great person. I'm a wonderful person. I'm a confident person. I'm, able to achieve my dreams. I'm this, I'm that. I mean, whatever it is you want to say, whatever you need to reprogram in your life, that's an individual thing. I, just threw out a couple of ideas. But you got to remember, whatever you feed your mind, whatever you put into it, that's what's going to come out. So if your mind believes that you are a failure, that you are not good enough, then that's what you're going to believe. So you have to take charge of the messages that get into your head, and start feeding yourself messages of power, accomplishment, beauty, success, and all these kind of things. Those are more important. And when you can do that and look in the mirror in the morning and kiss your reflection and be like, girl, you the shit. That is it. That is Miss Thing. Okay, when you can get to that point, see, I do that shit every day. I'm just like, admire my wonderfulness in the mirror. But when you can get to that point, then nothing that other people say will bother you. Nothing that other people do will bother you. And you can go through life with your head held high and taking care of yourself without worrying about being nice to motherfuckers that don't deserve it. All right, my name is Deborrah Cooper. You can find my writings on survivingdating.com and askheartbeat.com, as well as here on the YouTube channel. Feel free to follow me on Facebook or Twitter. You can see the URLs for both of those on the slides in the video. And check out our Patreon support system. We're looking for people to sponsor the channel. $1 a month is great. I'm not greedy. All right? So we'll talk to you guys soon, probably tomorrow, with another video. Bye-bye.